So there is this one game I play with my friends, where I take a small object and place it in one of my hands, and after a bit of time, ask them where it is. Now let's not consider this in a normal way, but let's talk quantum mechanics. According to quantum mechanics, there is a probable chance that the object is present in both my hands at the very same time. But how do we know where exactly the object is present? Simple, by making an observation. Observing the system makes all the other options to collapse and forces the object into one possible state. Now we know where exactly the object is present. Now that exactly is the Copenhagen interpretation in a nutshell. The Copenhagen interpretation was a series of views put forth by Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg, which explains the working of quantum mechanics. So this interpretation says that there is no real definite reality of the object before an observation or measurement is taken, but the object is in an undefined state called superposition. And this is where Schrodinger comes to spotlight. Schrodinger disagreed with the Copenhagen interpretation, saying that there were certain flaws in it and overall did not make any sense. And thus, Schrodinger came up with his own style of explaining things, and this is when he gave his famous thought experiment, the Schrodinger's cat. So Schrodinger basically designed this to show what the Copenhagen interpretation would look like if the mathematical terminologies used to explain superposition in the microscopic world were replaced by macroscopic terms so that an average person could visualize and understand it. Now what follows is the thought experiment. You take a box and place a cat inside it. Along with the cat, you place a radioactive element, a glass of poison, a Geiger counter, and a hammer attached to the Geiger counter with the help of a string. Now we leave the box untouched for an hour. Now let's consider what's the status of the cat inside the box. So according to our common sense, there are only two possibilities. Case 1. The radioactive element decays, the Geiger counter detects the atom, releases the hammer, which in turn breaks the glass of poison and instantly kills the cat. Or Case 2. The radioactive element does not decay and nothing happens, thus the cat is alive. So if the Copenhagen interpretation were to be right, then according to it, before an observation is made, the cat inside the box is in a state of superposition, which means it's both dead and alive at the very same time. Now this absurdity of calling the cat dead and alive at the same time did not make much sense and pointed out a flaw in the Copenhagen interpretation. So what was Schrodinger trying to say after all? He just wanted to say that the wave function collapses were not just driven by conscious observers and measurements, and he also argued that the quantum theory did not rely on possibilities. Turns out that observation and measurements remain two main important parts of studying quantum physics. So the question is, was Schrodinger right after all? Or was he wrong? Or was he both right and wrong at the same time?
Probably.